Hey guys, Mountain here and welcome back to the channel. Before I jump into today's topic, I just want to ask you guys to leave a like underneath this video, leave a subscribe on the channel. It will mean a lot to me and help me out in the algorithm. But aside from that, let's jump into today's topic. Today's topic is Kyrie Irving the most skilled player ever in history? Not in today's game, ever. And I want to talk about this because the first time I saw Kyrie Irving in 2014 as a kid, I was mesmerized. I was like, wow, I want to play like him. I want to be like him. The way Kyrie Irving moved the ball, I was like, wow. Kyrie Irving was my favorite player from about 2014 up until like 2016 or 2017. And then James Harden became my favorite player. He was my favorite player just because of the things that he was doing with the ball. And throughout that time, I'd heard a lot of times people ask the question, who has the best handles of all time? At the time, I thought Kyrie Irving by far had the best handles in the league, right? He was being compared to other guards in the league, like Stephen Curry. This is pre, 2016 Steph Curry, by the way. He's being compared to guys like Steph Curry, Russell Westbrook, Chris Paul, right? All the point guards like John Wall. And to me, it was a no-brainer. Kyrie Irving had the best handles by far of any of those guards, right? But from that came the comparisons to guards of old. So, like Allen Iverson. People really said, who has the best handles of all time? This kid, Kyrie Irving, is making guys fall. He's making guys look like idiots. He's getting oohs and ahs from the crowd every time he touches the ball. Does he have the same kind of talent as Allen Iverson? And so I went back and I watched Allen Iverson highlights. I'm like, Kyrie Irving's way better than that, right? But no one believed it, right? And especially the older fans, they do not, the die-hard Allen Iverson fans, the guys that saw Allen Iverson in a different light because of what he did for the league outside of basketball in terms of the culture that he was able to push forward. Standing up to David Stern and saying, hey, listen, I'm going to be me. I'm going to wear whatever I want when I come to the game. And a lot of people were turned off from him because they saw him as thuggish, the way he dressed, but he still stayed true to himself. And he influenced other players to be able to do that. And other players will even give him credit for that. They say Allen Iverson is one of the most influential people in the league because of that, right? Guys like Kobe Bryant, Shaquille O'Neal, all these guys in the early to mid 2000s kind of followed Allen Iverson in that sense. But aside from that, Allen Iverson, to me, and I don't mean to be disrespectful to him, couldn't hold a candle to the things that Kyrie Irving was doing when I was seeing him. I want to remind you again, this is 2014. I'm a 14-year-old. I'm in middle school, right? I just started watching basketball. I'm mesmerized by this guy, right? I'm just starting to learn about NBA history, the stars of old and now and who are the stars now. I'm seeing highlights of Allen Iverson. I'm like, he can't do the things I'm seeing Kyrie Irving do. And in 2013, Kyrie Irving was playing the Rising Star game, right? Where they have the rookies and sophomore all kind of play against each other, the best of the best. And he made Brandon Knight fall. I was like, that's just hilarious. It's funny to watch. But he was doing this consistently, right? He was doing this really consistently. And so when I saw that, I was like, yeah, no, this guy is much better than Allen Iverson. And so fast forward to today, we're talking about skills. And what are we saying when we're talking about skills? When we compare skills, Kyrie Irving, most skilled player of all time, to other players, right? So we're comparing him to the GOATs. We're comparing him to Kobe Bryant. We're comparing him to Michael Jordan. We're comparing him to LeBron James. The Kevin Durants of the world, the James Hardens. And to me, yes, Kyrie Irving has to be the most or one of the most skilled players ever, right? There are a few guys that can put in that category with him, right? And what do we talk about when we talk about skills? We talk about, all the tools that make you a great basketball player. The handling. What's your handling like? How can you handle the ball? The shooting, right? Well, Steph Curry is the best shooter in the world. So in that category, he outdoes Kyrie Irving, right? But then again, finishing. How well do you finish? Passing, right? All the things that make you a great basketball player that aren't physically imposing, such as your height, or how big you are, how you're able to back guys down, how you're able to just muscle your way. Those aren't really skill type of. When you specifically just look at skills, Kyrie Irving's blowing everybody away. At a point in time, Kyrie Irving and James Harden, to me, were the most unguardable one-on-one players in the league. From about 2017, 2019, James Harden was incredibly unguardable. You couldn't guard him. You know what I mean? Like, he would either step back, get a three on you, he could drive in, and it made it really hard to guard him. But also, Kyrie Irving had everything in his bag to be unguardable. And Damian Lillard came out and he said he's the most skilled player ever. Right? This is Damian Lillard. This is a guy that's been compared to both Steph Curry and Kyrie Irving in terms of shooting with Steph Curry and in terms of like handling and being a point guard with Kyrie Irving. So for him to come out and say that just adds validity to it. Kyrie Irving can create the shiftiest shots. He looks like he has the ball on a yo-yo. He's shifting between two guys. The way he finishes, he'll finish left, he'll finish right, he'll finish backwards. Did you guys see that finish he had over Victor Wembanyama when he went around Victor Wembanyama and then like he put the ball like behind him and it went over Wembanyama? It was just like, whoa, what is that, right? He'll acrobatic finishing, he'll shifty, he'll go right through guys, and it's mind-blowing stuff. It's very, very fun to watch. He's also an incredible shooter, one of the best shooting guards in the league. Whether it's free throw shooting, whether it is three-point shooting, you name it, Kyrie Irving can bang with the rest of them, right? In the 2016 finals, when he was going up against Steph, in those 2 years that he played against him, in 2016 and 2017, yeah, Kyrie Irving could shoot, create his own shot in the finals. Both Iman Shumpert and J.R. Smith said at the time, playing with him, LeBron James could go to the bench and Kyrie Irving would just cook. And you would forget for a second that LeBron was on the team. And you would just see him cook any player that was trying to stay in front of him. Klay Thompson had a tough time. Klay Thompson was one of the best two-way guards during those finals. He had a tough time having the assignment of Kyrie Irving, because Kyrie Irving had a bag that was deep that he could reach into. You need him to go left, he can do it. You need him to pull up from here, he can do it. You need him to do anything, he was able to do. He could create his own shot, create shots for other players. He could get to the rack, and we were just thankful Kyrie Irving isn't 6'6". You know, they said the same thing about Allen Iverson, that, hey, you guys are lucky that he isn't 6'6". I say, listen, you're lucky Kyrie Irving isn't 6'6". He's got one of the deepest bags we've ever seen in the NBA. I was watching an interview with Allen Iverson, and even he said, listen, I had no left hand. And this is taking me back to this whole we done with the 90s, we done with the 80s trend that has gone on for the past 2 weeks. And you look at players of old and you compare their skill levels to players of now, and Allen Iverson was saying, listen, when I jabbed and crossed over Michael Jordan, I don't even know how that worked, because to me, I knew I had no left hand. Anytime, and he said, if you go back and you watch those videos, anytime I went to my left hand, it would be for a brief moment, then switch back. So whenever I was making a crossover from my left hand to my right hand, I don't know how those guys were falling for it, because every single time I had no left hand. I could only go left. But the way he sold it is what got the defenders. He would sell it so well, and he would get them all the time. And I compare and contrast that to Kyrie Irving. I'm like, that's not the case. When a Kyrie Irving hesitates like he's going to the left, he's as much of a threat as when he hesitates like he's going to go to the right. You don't know what you're going to get. You don't know where he's going to be. You don't know how he's going to get there, because his bag is that deep, right? His bag is just that deep. And other players like Allen Iverson, who he's been compared to, or other people have compared him to, I think he's miles ahead of Allen Iverson. I don't mean that to be disrespectful to Allen Iverson, but I think that's just the case. I think that's just the evolution of the game. But yes, guys, those are just my thoughts on Kyrie Irving. If you like this kind of content, then hit the subscribe button, leave a like. I'm going to really appreciate that. It's going to help me out in the algorithm. And aside from that, thank you guys for watching.